Alright, let's do this, shall we? Back in March 2021, Xiaomi officially launched the Redmi Note 10 series over here in India. It quickly became the most popular phone and everyone wanted it. One of the first phones to come with an AMOLED 120Hz display under 20,000 rupees. Good performance, great cameras, awesome battery life and overall a very well balanced experience. And that too at a very attractive price. Like the price was the main thing. Back then Xiaomi was way too aggressive with their pricing. Redmi Note 10 Pro was out of stock for weeks. Super successful phone for Xiaomi over here in India. But after this phone, the Redmi Note series has kind of lost its magic. With each iteration, the pricing has gone up and the value that it offered has gone down. Currently in 2025, we are here with the Redmi Note 14 Pro. Now these two phones are 3.5 years apart. Also, they are 9,000 rupees apart. Let's see what all has improved and most importantly, what all has not improved. It's gonna be super fun and the results might surprise you. That's why sit back, relax and have a cup of chai. I want to start by talking about design, build quality and in-hand feel. Redmi Note 14 Pro feels more polished as compared to Redmi Note 10 Pro. Note 10 Pro is a good phone, but it feels a bit outdated and not premium as such. But Redmi Note 14 Pro definitely feels premium in the hand. Build quality wise, both of them have a plastic frame. But on the front, the glass has been upgraded from a Gorilla Glass 5 to a Gorilla Glass Victus 2. That is impressive. Also, Xiaomi is experimenting with more material. Like this color on the Redmi Note 14 Pro has a vegan leather back panel, which does feel premium. And overall, the design language of Redmi Note series has definitely evolved. Now, one design change that I do not like is the removal of the headphone jack. The Redmi Note 10 Pro did have a headphone jack, but the 14 Pro does not have that. And also, this one has a curved display as opposed to a flat display. You already know my choice. I do prefer flat displays over curved displays, but I think most people out there want a curved display because it feels more premium. Maybe that's why Xiaomi went with that. Now, as far as durability goes, there is a major upgrade in that department. The Redmi Note 14 Pro comes with IP68 rating. It also has support for IP69. On the other hand, Note 10 Pro does not have any of that. That is definitely a welcome upgrade. I would just recommend Xiaomi one thing though, try and go for a metal frame next time because that will definitely add to the premium feeling and maybe even wireless charging. That would have been awesome. Alright, next point is display. As I said in the intro, Redmi Note 10 Pro was one of the first smartphones to come with a 120Hz AMOLED display under 20,000 rupees. It was a great display back then and even today, this is a very good display. But with that being said, Redmi Note 14 Pro also has a great display. Again, 120Hz AMOLED and the resolution has been upgraded by a bit. Even the display bezels are thinner on Redmi Note 14 Pro, looks better. And in terms of brightness, Redmi Note 14 Pro is brighter in direct sunny conditions. The content viewing experience is great on both these phones. So essentially, Xiaomi gave a very good display with the Redmi Note 10 Pro and they've also given a very good display with the Redmi Note 14 Pro. Now, one more change is with the fingerprint sensor. With the Redmi Note 14 Pro, there is an in-display fingerprint sensor and with the Redmi Note 10 Pro, it was mounted on the side button. I honestly like the in-display fingerprint sensor more. Also, refresh rate seems to be more optimized on the Redmi Note 14 Pro. Like 120Hz works better on this phone as compared to the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Alright, we come to a very interesting point, that is performance and software. Right off the bat, I want to show you the Antutu score of both these phones. As expected, Redmi Note 14 Pro scores better on Antutu as compared to Redmi Note 10 Pro. But here's the thing, this smartphone is no longer a budget smartphone. It moved from a budget smartphone to a mid-range smartphone. And if we look at it that way, the performance is just okay on Redmi Note 14 Pro. If it was still under 20,000, this performance would be okay. But now it is 25,000 rupees. And for this, I do expect a little bit better performance, like a better chipset. Because the performance that Redmi Note 10 Pro offered for the price was great. What about the software though? Redmi Note 10 Pro is running on MIUI 14 and Redmi Note 14 Pro is running on Xiaomi HyperOS. To be honest, HyperOS doesn't feel that much different from MIUI 14. Like it does have new modern features, AI features and things like that, but in terms of look and feel, it has that MIUI DNA. Xiaomi had a big opportunity with HyperOS to deliver a better experience, but they chose to not go too far and not change MIUI that much. They really had a big opportunity with HyperOS, which they missed. I would have definitely preferred to see something different from the house of Xiaomi. But with that being said, the software optimization is great on both these phones. I've not noticed any major lags or bugs with the Redmi Note 14 Pro. It has been a smooth experience. Now, one thing I would like to mention over here is that this smartphone still runs on Android 14. The Android 15 update has not come yet, and even HyperOS 2.0 that should come soon to the Redmi Note 14 Pro. Now, one thing about performance that really surprised me is the RAM type and storage type. Both these smartphones have LPDDR4X RAM and UFS 2.2 storage. That is something that has not been upgraded despite the fact that Redmi Note 14 Pro is 9,000 rupees more expensive. See, in this price range of 25,000 rupees, the storage type should at least be UFS 3.1 and the RAM type should be at least LPDDR5X. So if someone from Xiaomi is watching this, please take this feedback that improve the storage and RAM type, because that helps a lot in terms of the overall performance of the smartphone. Alright, this gets me to battery life and charging. Redmi Note 10 Pro has a 5000 mAh battery and came with 33 watt fast charging with the charger inside the box. Redmi Note 14 Pro has a 5500 mAh battery and comes with a 45 watt charger inside the box itself. That is the thing that I appreciate about Xiaomi. They have not removed chargers from their box, and 45 watt is good enough charging. And battery life has been amazing on both these smartphones. No issues with battery life whatsoever. That is one thing which is consistent with every Redmi Note phone, that the battery life is good. Alright, this gets me to the cameras. Redmi Note 10 Pro has 4 cameras on the back side. A 64 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera, 5 megapixel macro camera and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. Redmi Note 14 Pro has 3 cameras on the back side. A 50 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide angle camera and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Let's start by comparing images from the main camera. You can see that there is a difference in terms of how the images are processed. Note 10 Pro goes for a more contrasty approach and Note 14 Pro goes for a more HDRE approach. Like, the images from Note 14 Pro are flat as compared to the images from Note 10 Pro. This is because the HDR has got too aggressive over the years. But for the most part, this is a good thing. That's because you get more dynamic range in the images from Redmi Note 14 Pro. And same goes for the ultra wide angle camera. Ultra wide angle camera on Redmi Note 10 Pro is very soft as compared to Redmi Note 14 Pro. The images are sharper with better dynamic range. And this is across lighting conditions. Day lighting conditions, artificial lighting conditions and even low lighting conditions. But what about portrait mode? Well, here are a few samples of portrait mode and you can see for yourself which one is better. It's the Redmi Note 14 Pro. But the difference is not that huge. Like, Redmi Note 10 Pro still clicks some really good portrait images. I honestly think 3.5 years ago, Xiaomi did a very good job with the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Alright, this is a very quick front camera video test with the Redmi Note 10 Pro and Redmi Note 14 Pro. Both shooting in 1080p at 30 FPS. Both of them do not have the option of 4K. Now you guys let me know about the video quality as well as the audio quality coming out of these devices. Redmi Note 14 Pro can also shoot in 1080p 60 FPS with the front camera. Note 10 Pro cannot do that. And here is a quick 4K video sample from both these phones. I'm gonna do a little walk here as well, so that will give you an idea of stabilization. Now Note 14 Pro has optical image stabilization, but the Note 10 Pro does not have that. So yeah, that's gonna give you a pretty good idea about stabilization. Also, here we go. This is a quick 4K video sample. Now, if we compare macro photos, here's where the Redmi Note 10 Pro wins as compared to Redmi Note 14 Pro. That's because it had a very good 5 megapixel macro camera. And after that, Xiaomi just removed that camera. They never ever got that camera back. I honestly feel that they should get this camera back or just include a telephoto camera with macro capabilities, because that would be awesome. What about selfies? Where here are a few selfie samples and you guys let me know which one does a better job in the comment section down below. I'm leaving this point to you guys. See, all things considered, the camera is definitely an upgrade on the Redmi Note 14 Pro. This gets me to the little things. If we compare the speakers, Redmi Note 14 Pro definitely has better speakers as compared to Redmi Note 10 Pro. Redmi Note 10 Pro is a 4G smartphone as compared to 5G on Redmi Note 14 Pro. And then we come to the final point, that is the price. This smartphone came for about 16,000 rupees 3.5 years ago, but that had only 6GB of RAM and 64GB of internal storage. This smartphone comes for 25,000 rupees with 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. So if we compare the same RAM and storage models, this one goes up to around 18,000-19,000 and this one stays at 25,000. In the last 3.5 years, inflation has definitely been crazy. And as I said back then, Xiaomi was way too aggressive with their pricing. They could not keep up with that. They were aggressive with pricing to get more market share. That's how these brands work. That's how OnePlus work. They launch smartphones at an unbelievable price, get market share, and then slowly increase the price. That's what's been happening with the Redmi Note series as well. Xiaomi has continued to improve these smartphones, but I feel somewhere along the the way they've kind of lost focus. I think with the next iteration, they need to get that focus back because Redmi Note series is loved by everyone. I personally have enjoyed using every Redmi Note smartphone. So I really want to see Xiaomi do better in terms of the Redmi Note series. Because right now the Redmi Note 14 Pro is a great smartphone. It's an all-rounder smartphone, but it does not have that Note feeling like it had with the Redmi Note 10 Pro. I hope you get my point. If you resonate with this, then let me know about that in the comments section down below. If you want to see more such videos, then please request them in the comments as well, and I will try to make more such videos. So that's been it. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button if you like the content. Subscribe to the channel because that would mean the world to me. My name is Harsh Punjabi, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.